Hi everyone, welcome to the E50 tank guide. Nah. Welcome to the E50 tank guide. This is probably one of the best tier 9 medium tanks that you can get your hands on in World of Tanks. And I'm going to show you everything you need to know about this vehicle. So first things first, what is the E50 and how does it play in World of Tanks? Well, this tank is what we would call a heavian. This means that it is a mix between a heavy tank and a medium tank, but it's never going to be as good as one or the other in its class-specific environment. For example, in the medium tank environment, you would want to have a little bit more camo so you can quickly go behind bushes, and a little bit more DPM, because then you can actually outplay a lot of people in the open. On the other hand, it is also not a heavy tank because its armor isn't as strong as other heavy tanks. It has lots of weak spots, being the lower plate, and it can definitely not take that many shots to the turret as other heavy tanks can do, so it can't play hold down as effectively. And it also can't get the good field mod that heavy tanks can in regards to the track health. But because of this, it actually makes it a beautiful blend of the two. So when you go to the medium tank flank, you have the armor. You have the, okay, not as much DPM, but still enough DPM to play with other people, and if you've got a few people with you as well on your team, you should be able to overcome the enemy. You also are very, very fast, but also weigh a lot. This tank is one of the best rammers in the game. It goes at 60 kilometers an hour and weighs 63 tons currently as I have it set up. You can also set it up to have over 2,000 hit points, which is heavy tank level of hit points, in a medium tank that goes at 60 kilometers an hour and weighs 63 tons. Yeah, if you go to the medium tank flank, you can really start to just plow through them. You see what I mean? And then when the time comes, you quickly go to the heavy tank flank and you can go into side scrape and be annoying for them. So all of these things combined just make it such a beautiful tank to play in nearly any environment, apart from maybe out in the open and when you need camo. But that being said, the gun, on the other hand, is exceptional as well. 0.26 accuracy with 7.5 second reload time for 390 alpha, meaning that you can snipe when you need to in this vehicle. And the shell velocity allows you to do so as well. 1,200 shell velocity on the AP rounds and 1,500 on the APCR, and you even have 1,200 on the HE rounds, meaning that you can snipe very, very easily, especially if using the APCR at distance without too many issues. Another thing to mention is that, of course, the APCR rounds are just flat out better. So if you are trying to mark this tank, I would 100% recommend you do that and just play as good as you can. 230 standard rounds is annoying and you are going to really feel it, especially if you do fight more heavily armored tanks. But even after saying that, the premium rounds are only 270, which can be quite annoying in tier 10 games when you would like to have 300 or 330 heat. Now for the equipment on this vehicle, it is pretty simple. There's a few setups that you can do, but I think that for the vast majority of people, they'll want to be running HP, Rammer, Stab. The reason being is that one HP boost is going to boost your track health, allowing you to take that extra hit into your tracks if you are side scraping. And you can also bait people into shooting your tracks when side scraping instead of your side armor, and you're just going to take that hit for free. And then you can peek out and shoot them. Now, alternatively, if you don't want to use hardening, which is fair enough, you could put a turbo in there, or you could put vents in there. Either works, it is down to you at the end of the day with your playstyle. I guess if you do want to play it like a more true-to-life medium tank, then maybe the vents or the turbo. But if you want to play it in the most flexible way, in my opinion, it would be the hardening. Now for a secondary loadout, I would want to use optics, CVS, and a rammer. This is not going to be played like a light tank. This needs to be very, very clear. You do not have the camo to play as a light tank. What you play this as is a quick peek and then just spot what you can and then back off. Almost like you would in a heavy tank. There's a reason why in most of my secondary builds on a heavy tank I take optics, because if I get on Prokhorovka, I like to just play the mid and just peek up with my armor, spot what I can, and then back off again. And usually I'll get some spotting out of it. When you can use CVS, it works even better. And considering that you will have 508 meters view range combined with CVS, this works very, very well. You still have the rammer. The only thing that you're really sacrificing here is a little bit of gun stability by not using stab. But the gun stability is pretty good, even without stab. Although it really does feel very, very nice with it. And you can definitely notice it. But as I said, you only have 10% camo. You're getting spotted no matter what you do, especially if you go and sit in a bush, or at least try to sit in a bush, and when you're on the move, you only have 7.5, so it's really not worth it. Now for field mods on this vehicle, it is the default left-hand side for the first one. That's the same for absolutely every single medium tank in the game. And then the right-hand side, again, the same for absolutely every single medium tank in the game. For number 5, we actually choose the left-hand side, which is the turbocharged tuning. Now, this allows you to get plus 2 km/h to the top reverse speed, which is quite important. Reverse speed is something that is very, very overlooked in this game. And if you have more of it, it is just nicer to get out of situations with, especially if you're brawling in a city. It also then does 5% to the suspension repair speed. Combine that with hardening, you then have a very, very fast, I think it's 3.58 second repair time for the suspension. So it is very, very fast if you use this in combination with hardening. Now, for some people, they might want to choose to have the camo rating, and that's fine. If they want to choose vents, for example, and have a full camo crew, then sure, it might work. But for me personally, I'd rather do this, treat it like a brawler, and then just be up close and personal with whatever enemies I come up against. However, when it comes to number 7, this is kind of non-negotiable and just should be on the left-hand side for increased hit points. Because you already have very, very good aim time, and as you can see, 3.94 even with this enabled. So there's no point choosing the right-hand side or even none. Just get the hit points and boost up that HP. So for our first game that I'm going to show you, it is on Outpost. Now all of these games were done live on Twitch. If you want to go and follow me there, then please do. I'll leave a link in the description or a pinned comment. But I decided to do it this way because it's just easier. I could have shown you the live gameplay, but then it doesn't really talk through exactly what I want to of this tank. And now this tank, as you can tell, I'm going to the heavy tank flank. I want to try and get some early pressure on the heavies. Hopefully we can maybe get some shots on people that are coming down late, because usually with this, say, Jagdpanzer right here, I don't quite know how that hit, but you know, it's you take what you can get, right? But from this position, I can then start to play and aggress the middle and also deal with any heavy tanks that are trying to push up onto the hill of this little hill. You see what I mean? Like from here. This is where I'm trying to defend. So I can help out the mid, and I can also help out the little town area to my right. But as you can see, Chart doesn't really have too many chances at penning me, especially if I'm hold down like this. He would need to be firing heat, he would need to be aiming for my turret, and even though that it's not super reliable armor, as you can tell, if you do hit it flat, it's probably going to pen with heat. But with APCR, this Chart doesn't really have a chance. Now, later on in the replay, as you can tell, a bit of time has passed. Mr. Esconk tries to get up. We put a shell into him. This is exactly what I was speaking about earlier, where if they are trying to get up, then I can quickly just deal with them in that situation. Now, at the moment, the game is looking fine. Our team is holding pretty well. We have an AFK Tiger Mouse, unfortunately, so we are one tank down completely. And our concept is... well, I mean, he's a medium tank, apparently. So, you know. Well, let's sit there. We have lost a mid, unfortunately. But as long as you control the other two flanks, the mid isn't really that important. But as bad as that sounds, if they're not going to do anything from the mid, for example, they're not peeking anywhere, the mid doesn't really matter. This Char, though, he keeps peeking more and more. I mean, I don't know what he's doing, but he really, really wants to try and shoot me. No, he's not going to peek that again. That would be a very, very... well, I mean, I'm sure he had fun with artillery, you know. But now that we've won this side, as you can tell, Esconk, the only thing that's there, he's getting obliterated. There's no real point of me now pushing forwards here, because if I push forwards, it's not really going to end well. But there's no point of me pushing where this TVP is going. If I push forwards into their base, all that's going to really happen is then we'll get stuck at that kind of choke point of their base, and anybody that's sitting at the back with tank destroyers or anything else, they'll then start shooting us. So there's no point of doing that. You might as well just wait here, try and play for some damage at the mid, and right now, our TVP's taken this spot. Taking this spot means that he can now see anybody that is right below it on this kind of the E34 kind of region, F34 kind of region, people that like to sit down there, he would see that. So we know that we're completely safe from the right. So we can just sit here and just wait for this 121B. If he wants to peek, then we can shoot him. If not, great. And in a second, I think I'll start to move forward. Yeah, when I realised the 121 is going that way. I was initially thinking, oh, we can just push into their base. And then, come on, Max, yes, use brain. Brain left. Yes. See? Eventually I got it. But it's one of those things where if you just look at the map, there's no real point of pushing that. Sure, you might get 1 or 2 shots, but look at the damage that is over this side. We have the 113BO, the Progetto 66, they're all pushing this concept. And all three of these, so there's 2 Guerrillas here. There's a Guerrilla on 14 health and a Guerrilla on 1027 health, or 32, and a concept. All of these are low one-shots, potentially for both the Progetto 66 and the 113. So we'll try and get this out of the game. I want to try and perma-track him, because again, very, very useful with having 390 alpha. I can afford to perma-track a lot of people. And here we go, we just side scrape. No threat at all. This is even with standard rounds. This guy is now perma-tracked. He actually used a repair kit there, which is quite funny. And it's not really worked out well for him, has it? So, yeah. But now, if we have a little look, the Guerrilla is dead. This Guerrilla is now a one-shot. We have an STB still defending that with our 2 artilleries. It's not too bad overall, but we need to get this 113 out of the game. Lovely. And now we can turn our attention to the Batchat and the 121. Now, the Batchat can't push this because the STB is there. The 121 could maybe push it, but I'm also very, very scared of the 121B on top of the hill. Because the problem is that if I go... We do get the Batchat AP. The problem is that if I go forwards into directly where I'm looking now, or if I go there, the 121B can just go onto the hill and shoot me in the bum. Like, for free. I will take 1 or 2 shots guaranteed from that 121B. And in this scenario, it is way more important to conserve your hit points and actually use it effectively, because there's a Guerrilla, there's a Hori 3, both of them 700 alpha. So that is 2/3 of my hit points just gone straight away. So if that happens to me, I'm going to wish that I never took that 121B shot. So right now, I'm just playing it safe. We play proxy. From this position, I can go and spot anybody that pushes up to here. If the 121B wants to try and push this way, he can't. If he goes the other way, he can't. The 268 is there. As you can tell, if we go quickly in the free cam, the 268 is over here, looking this way. If he goes down here, he will get spotted. If he even peeks, he'll get spotted. No matter where the 121B goes, he is now going to get spotted. We also have the TVP moving through the south, as well as the 260. So this is all going very, very well right now. The only thing that could possibly lose us the game is me pushing something. If I die in the mid, it is not going to go well for my team. So the only thing that I really need to do is do nothing. And sometimes that is the best thing you can do. By doing nothing, you actually allow the game to develop more than you realise. I am wanting to try and shoot this Guerrilla though. So we're going to pull back. We're going to go to a better position. I also know for a fact that I can obviously shoot around this way because I shot the Batchat AP earlier. And I am still very scared of the 121B. The 268 has moved through, which makes it a little bit more precarious behind me because I don't have that vision anymore. But the Guerrilla is now pushing through. We load HE for the Guerrilla. That doesn't pen, it only does 187 damage, but maybe we get a second shot. Lovely. Lovely tracking shot and 565 to him. Now obviously we're going to be loading back into AP rounds because if we want to go and shoot the 121 or the 121B, we can now go and deal with them. 121 not being seen anywhere. He is up here now. I am aware of that. He doesn't spot me, I don't think. Nope, we don't actually go into proxy range. So we can now put 1 into the 121. The 121B is going to drop off behind me probably to start shooting me. That 121 goes into safety and then dies. And now it's just the 121B. So, beautiful. Never worried. And he rams me, which is quite funny because this tank weighs a lot, as I said. You don't want to ram an E50. You really don't. Okay, so for our next game, we're on Mannerheim line. Now, this is going to be the more medium tank playstyle, right? We've shown you where I would like to play as a heavy tank and just more defensive. Again, we're not playing on the first line as the heavy tank. That's more of a second line slash supportive heavy tank. We hit some very interesting shots at the start. I mean, you know, RNG happens. It is what it is. I'm not going to lie to you. I hit the first shot and I started getting a little bit cheeky and just, you know, yeah, we can hit this, we can hit that. I mean, I don't know how I hit the Type 59 as well, but, you know, we hit loads, and now we're aggressive. We've pushed in. With a top-tier tank, we need to be aggressive. It doesn't matter if we don't have premium rounds, you know, we're not firing premium rounds, because none of these tanks that I'm firing at need premium. 230 is more than enough for Patton the tank. That thing is... I can't believe that it's the same tier as me, to be honest. And unfortunately for them, they got matched up an E50 and a Skoda T50 with 2 Patton the tanks. That is not balanced in any world or in any universe. But here we are. We are being as aggressive as we can be because we're top tier. We don't want to be peaking too far though, because even though that we are top tier and we do have armor, you're not unpennable. There is going to be times where you get a little bit too aggressive and then you die for it. You know, just because you do have HP on your tank and hardening and whatnot doesn't mean that every single shot is going to, you know, bounce off of your tracks. As you can see here, we want to be making sure that we're side scraping as best as we can. One into the track. Again, track's surviving that. If we were using anything else, we would have taken the track and been tracked there, and maybe they would have come through and taken a shot at us. So that is why hardening is super nice, even in this environment where you're fighting mediums. Now we're just waiting. We're playing the patient game. Again, waiting for this Patton the tank. He peeks, and then we shoot him once. Even though that we're not side scraping here, we get really unlucky with this 122, by the way. Even though that we're not side scraping here, because of the angle of the upper hull, it's actually very, very hard to pen this. So if he misses even slightly, as again, tracks, if he misses even slightly and doesn't hit flush on the side, it'll just bounce off the upper plate, like easily. Yeah, this 122 TM, he doesn't want to get penned by me. He's made of something that is way stronger than whatever I have. But, I mean, it's not so good against the Gonkivis, or whatever his name is. But Type 59, I mean, he's kind of bullying, isn't it, really? Are you trying to push up? No connection. But this is just pure E50 territory. You don't need to have people behind you. Right? As long as you have one person that's stopping the push, that's all you need. Because you can then start to just I guess you play the battle of attrition with them, where you just whittle them down, and because you have the better armor, you will then win the fight. AMBT peeking, we need to try and side scrape, or at least angle a little bit. I think the Gonkin, yeah, he misses. Unfortunately, our brain is a little bit slow, and we choose to go forwards rather than backwards. But now we see a prime target for Ziram. Hello, Mr. Type 59. How do you do? Ah, wonderful. Now, we actually take 230 from that because, reasons, I don't know. Yep, that's, I don't think I even have controlled impact. This is 100%. You should have controlled impact on this tank because it makes it a lot more fun. But, yeah, there you go. We've won that flank. Sure, it was mainly me and just this, you know, the tier 9 Gonkavisa. Now, we hit all these shots at the start, but we can't hit an actual bus of an artillery at the end there, which is quite funny. But now we're just playing cleanup. It's 11-4. We played our role. We've done what we could. And now we get to reap the benefits at the end of the game. Again, hardening helped us out massively in this battle. Would we have got the same result without hardening? Maybe, but I wouldn't have felt as confident. I definitely wouldn't have felt as confident. Are you... Doesn't matter, you know. I mean, we have an extra... What is it? I don't... Maybe if that RU had shot, he might have actually killed us, potentially. If we had penned, he might have actually killed us if we didn't use hardening, depending on what health we would have been on. But yeah, this is just a prime example of how good the E50 can be in a medium tank environment. So for the battle results, on the Outpost game, we got a lovely 4.6k damage with 500 assistance and 4 kills. And that was a 1.3k base, which is kind of hard to believe is only a class 1, not an ace tanker. But it's probably around about 1.4 to get a mastery. I don't really care too much about masteries. I just want to show you a good game at the end of the day, and something that will hopefully help you out. But this was a very nice game. We earned very decent profit as well. We did have a few boosters running, clan and personal. So at the end of the day, we did take home a lot of credits and made quite a lot of XP. And for the Mannerheim line game, about 1,000 less damage, but still the same assistance and the same kills. It's only a second class, but it was a nice game to show you how it plays as a medium tank in that environment. Come top on damage, 1,100 base, and we don't take home as much because we didn't have boosts and missions and everything else going on, but an acceptable amount of XP as well. So that is why the E50 is one of the best medium tanks at tier 9 in the game, and why it's so beloved by a lot of players. Let me know your equipment setups down below. I know a few people who want to do the ramming setup. Unfortunately, that's just not my cup of tea, but if that's you, then all power to you. That's great. But I'd rather play this tank as a brawler rather than just as like a meme kind of rammer. Let me know your thoughts down below either way. And also, if you did enjoy, consider leaving a like and subscribe. It does all help me out greatly and helps spread my channel and grow it even further. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.